Hello, Shane. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show. Yeah.
Well, Jim, thank you for that. Now, uh, I'm sure everybody knows Jim. Jim is an absolute legend if in the recruiter sphere on the internet. And yeah, you are Jim. You are Jim. Obviously, you're the director of sourcing and strategy for Bernard Hole's group. But really, everybody knows you from all your YouTube videos and all the blogging and the stuff you've been doing for years and years and years and years. In actual fact, I have this theory, Jim. You started internet sourcing in '97. Now, that was before most people knew the internet was there. So that, to some extent, means you founded internet sourcing.
Yeah. Well, wait, did you did you say that I started the whole social recruiting thing? I would like to take credit for that, but I can't. There were several other people who were involved in sourcing, which evolved into social recruiting before I came along. Um, but yes, sourcing has evolved quite a bit since I initially started. When I started, the places I used to go to find candidates were predominantly a lot on job boards. A lot of these boards aren't around now, like Headhunter.net, Career Mosaic. I would also find a lot of candidates inside of news groups, groups like I don't know US.jobs or Georgia.aol.resumes or something like that. And those aren't around anymore. Well, actually, they are. They're just called Google Groups. Um, so yeah, that's what I used to use back then.
Sense, Jim, and I don't know how much you agree with this, because in the US it is a different market and a more developed market for the sourcing community. But in many recruitment, I deal with staffing recruitment agencies, most of them don't really have clarity with regard to what a sourcer actually does. For a lot of people, it's either a part of the recruitment function or it is a resourcer type role, which is more of an administratory type role. Now, you've been sourcing for uh, most of your career, so how would
Right.
you define what a sourcer is and what they do and how it fits into the whole recruitment cycle?
Sure, sure. Some organizations define the sourcing function in various ways. Some organizations believe that a sourcer should just focus primarily on lead generation, find the people that are needed, build up a pipeline, present those candidates to the recruiter. In addition to that, doing a bit of maybe competitive intelligence, seeing what's out there, seeing what companies are doing what, look at where they're getting their people and pipeline you candidates, that kind of thing. I've seen some other organizations where they see the sourcer as more of an administrative role, pretty much someone who goes on Monster or Dice or some other job boards and just pull resumes out there and then starts calling people like a call center and say basically, I found your resume online, we have your job, a job that's perfect for you. Would you like to talk to us about it? And then if they say yes, pass those leads on to a recruiter. And then I have seen organizations where not only do they find the people, qualify the people, but they also are active in scheduling the people after the recruiter has contacted them and approved them for an interview. So on one end, sourcers do pretty much just lead generation, and on the other far end, sourcers do lead generation. Uh, they warm up the candidates, and they take on a more administrative role as well. I'm of the belief that a sourcer should just do the lead generation portion of it. They should go out, find the people, and create a list, and then pass that information on to the recruiter to follow up on.
Every day I'm shuffling. Every day I'm shuffling.
So, Jim, now, what I know you for, and lots of other people know you for, are your the videos that you do in recruitment and the work you do in video. And actually, I've always felt you are the most productive video producer in the recruitment field that I know of. I do my own little bit with my own YouTube channel, but you seem to have got so much from it. How do you use video to recruit, and how have you used it?
Sure, sure. I'll show you an example. Let me put this on the screen. If you do a search for Microsoft Canada Development Center, you'll see in the results, like here, a video thumbnail. I produced that video back in 07, 08, somewhere in there. And when you look at the video basically is me playing the roving reporter, and I'm walking around asking people, hey, do you like working here at Microsoft? If you do, tell me why in 30 seconds or less. Go.
So tell me your name.
Andre.
Okay, and what do you do here?
I'm a dev in the Scream team in Windows.
Okay, and what kind of things go on here in this infamous room? You showed me this room where there is a foosball.
Yeah, we have
thing
a
there?
football table. And besides working hard here, we love to play football. We
Okay.
have like a small championship with 20 teams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gonna start today.
Now, some things I want to point out about that video was that, one, it was extremely cheap to do. I used a flip camera that cost maybe $100, give or take. And then I edited it with Windows Movie Maker, which comes with your PC. If you have a PC, you have Windows Movie Maker. If you have Windows 95 or higher, which you probably do. And so I used free software and I used a cheap camera to make the video you saw there. The end result of that is that once I made the video and I gave it an interesting title, tagged it with some nice keywords, gave it a good description, I posted it up on YouTube and a few other places. And now when people do a search for Microsoft Canada Development Center, or looking at information about the facility or jobs there, or what's it like to interview there, that kind of thing, my video pops up. It pops up on page 1. So when they do a Google search, my video pops up and they're able to see what it's like to actually work there at the company. And not only, for that matter, not only does it come up number 1 on Google when you do a search, but if you search on Yahoo and Bing, Ask, and AOL Search, which are the top 5 search engines, then my video will pop up in the search results.
Well, Jim, another question for you. Obviously, the key benefits then of video are the SEO, the brand personality in terms of trying to tell people what's going on, the fact that you're producing a bit of content that's shareable and you can put it in places where people hang out, which is always good. So you're going to them rather than them coming to you. Now, that's fine if you're Microsoft. You can put a video out and get 47,000 views. What if you're a small staffing recruitment agency and you don't want to necessarily sing the praises of your clients because your competitors will grab hold of who they are? What can you do if you're a recruitment agency?
Yeah, right. I hear you. Well, what I would do if I were a small recruiting agency, staffing firm, is I would create a series of how-to tutorials that would appeal to the people I want to recruit. Let's say, for example, I was a software developer and I don't know how to do something in C++ or C#, and I don't want to embarrass myself by asking my peers or my manager, how do I go about doing this? Because then I might think, well, okay, you don't know how to do this, then maybe we should hire somebody else, So what I would do is I would go over to YouTube and do a search, or over to Google, type in how do I do whatever, blah, blah, and the answer would magically pop up on the screen, fingers crossed. I know a lot of programmers, software developers may have questions that don't want to ask, so they will do the search. So why not you, as an agency, get some programmers together, ask them different questions about what are really tough things that programmers have to deal with in terms of putting your software together. Okay, now put together a video of it, and once they have done that, start placing the videos on YouTube and other places. Give it a good description. In the video description, say, in this video we will show you how to do whatever with C++. If you love C++, then this is a link to our career site. This is my email address. Reach out to me. Reach out to the company. We would love to interview you for an opportunity.
Jim, I want to move on because I know time's tight, and there's a big thing that you talk about regularly and often, and it's about cool tools. And you're a man who likes showing off clever little things and things that stumble across the internet. So what cool tools have you been playing with of late?
I like Tweeps because it's simple to use and produce results. Here I searched on a job title, software engineer, and a location, Atlanta, and abracadabra, just like that. Tweeps returns to me 90 software engineers in Atlanta that are all on Twitter. That's what it does, it just searches Twitter. So I thought that was pretty cool. Search IM lets me search instant messenger apps like Skype, ICQ, Google Talk, and others to find people with certain interests. Now look what happens when I search software engineer. I get 5,900 results of people who are software engineers or at the least have expressed an interest in such. This next tool I want to show is, let me switch to video. Alright, this tool here, I've been playing around with it for a while off and on. It's owned now by a company called SEO Book, but before then it was a standalone tool. And this is actually something that's been in my bookmarks for a few years. And I sort of forgot about it, but I was going through some old bookmarks and came across it, and here you go. Well, it's new to you. What's called Keyword List Generator. And you create search, oops, what was that? Yeah, and what I use it for is to create search strings. And this is an example of what I mean. I would scroll down, and here in this box, I put in a search like in title : resume or in URL resume. In the second box, I put in different keywords like C++, Java, software, Windows, and so on. And then I put in this box some minus words like minus apply, minus submit, minus your, because those are words that I don't want in my search results. For example, if you want to apply for this job, send your resume, submit here, that kind of thing. That's why I want those soft words there. And then once I do, I click the broad box here and click generate. And I will get these different search strings. These are every possible way that you can use these different words into a search. And what I do is I will put them into Notepad like so, and I will build up a list of different search strings that I could experiment with later. And what I would do is I would take this list and put it into a spreadsheet and say, you know what, this search string worked great for me, this one did not, and then I'll just keep a list. I will build a spreadsheet up of different search strings that have worked well for me in the past. Does that make sense?
Just one final plug for myself. My next webinar is happening probably in about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks' time, and I'm going to be talking about recruitment software, applicant tracking systems. I'm actually going to do something that's slightly promotional to what I actually do for a day job, which is very unusual for me to do, but there's loads of fascinating stuff to talk about. So that's my plan for my next webinar. Thanks very much, Jim, for today. It's been absolutely brilliant having you, and I really look forward to talking to you again very, very soon.
Thank you, sir.